Welcome back. Now, blepharitis is a chronic eye condition quite common where the eyelids get swollen and feel irritated, although not contagious. You may be more likely to develop blepharitis when you have an oily skin or certain skin conditions. To help us understand more about this, I'm joined by the Senior Medical Officer at the Windhoek Central Hospital Eye Clinic, Dr. Tracy Mweti. Doctor, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Mina. Thank you so much for having me.
Doctor, help us understand the difference between blepharitis and a stye.
So, as you rightfully said, blepharitis is inflammation of your eyelid. In order to understand it very well, I think we need to understand that the eyelids not only have your eyelashes, but there are certain glands within the eyelids themselves that secrete an oily substance that is very essential in hydrating basically the eyeball itself. So it differs from chalazion or a stye in that with a stye, it's basically one of the glands being inflamed and blocked, so that all that fluid that is supposed to be secreted, that fatty fluid that's supposed to be secreted, builds up, and the patient presents then with this painless growth or nodule on the eyelid, be it upper eyelid or lower eyelid.
Mm-hmm. What are the causes of blepharitis, and can you experience it on one eye only or both eyes simultaneously?
So blepharitis actually affects both eyes, and it affects it equally in both eyes. In terms of the etiology itself of blepharitis, we are really uncertain in the medical fraternity about the etiology and the exact mechanism of how it comes about, but there have been some theories that have been postulated. One of the theories being that it could be as a result of the normal human response to bacteria. There is a certain bacteria called Staphylococcus aureus. It's normally occurring on the body, but somehow some people actually react or have an immune response just to the presence of the antibody on the eyelid. There has been some postulations that there are certain enzymes that are released by some bacteria that affect the glands on the eyelids from releasing this sebaceous, basically secretion, this fatty fluid that I spoke about. And there have been some cases where they've identified some mites on the eyelashes as well. These mites are called your demodex, yes.
Mm-hmm. Are there different types of blepharitis, doctor?
Clinically, there are two types of blepharitis. We have your anterior blepharitis, your posterior blepharitis. In some cases, you can have a mixture of both, and in those cases, then we regard it as a mixed blepharitis. However, it's not something that the patient themselves can be able to say that they have an anterior posterior blepharitis. It's only something that a doctor will be able to see when they examine the patient.
Mm-hmm. Is this something that's hereditary? Who's more likely to be at risk of developing blepharitis?
Blepharitis is actually not a hereditary disorder, but we have found that it's more common in patients that, as you rightfully said, in patients that are prone to already skin disorders. So with patients with allergic dermatitis.
Doctor, are you there? Well, it seems unfortunately we've lost our connection with Dr. Mweti. Let's take a brief break. We'll be right back.